And so I think it's important right from the get-go, before you talk about your offense, addressing how do we play in those 4 areas? What are our habits in those areas? I'm not going to cover pick and rolls today, but in pick and rolls, what are our reactions to every coverage? What are reactions to a big and a drop? How do we react 2-on-2 to that? What are reactions to a hard show? What are our reactions to a switch? What are our reactions to an under, right? And your players knowing those solutions. That's not any set play right there, right? That's teaching the game of how to play basketball. And to me, that comes first before you put in your set that gets to a middle pick and roll, right? You got to lay the foundations of that, number one. So to me, offense is 5 guys, 5 players on the floor working together to create one advantage. And at the point that that advantage is created, 5 players working together to take that advantage and turn it into one great shot for the group. The first place that you can seek out an advantage in the game is transition. And so a huge word with us is lag-free. You see, you guys all use laptops and you get the little spinning wheel of death when you have like 10 applications open at the same time. It's the worst moment in your day, right? You're losing time. You're losing moments to impact winning in your life, right? And that happens on the basketball court, right? They make a basket or they miss a basket, right? And there's a lag time a lot of time in our players. Maybe not in all of them, but 2 out of the 5, right? But how can we get all 5 of our players to be lag-free in transition? Where the moment we get possession of that ball, we have 5 players sprinting. All right, I wish I could show you guys a clip of Phoenix last year. There was a clip of Phoenix. Maybe you guys saw it on SportsCenter. It was almost comedy. Like, as soon as the ball changed possession, all 5 players in the same stride stepped with the right foot and took off running. It was amazing. But that's what we want out of every possession in an ideal world. So lag-free means transitioning from one action to the next seamlessly. And it's something we want every time. So our 3 rules in transition, very simple. Sprint. Number 1, take off sprint. We have possession, take off sprint. All 5 guys sprinting. Number 2, flatten the floor, meaning you're going to keep running until if there's nobody down in the corner, you're going to keep running down to the corner. If there's nobody down in the block, you're going to keep running down to the block, all right? Flatten the floor for the ball handler, all right? Flatten the floor and stretch the floor out to the sidelines to give our ball handler as much space as possible. And then number 3 is stay with your spacing, meaning the spacing that we sprint with is the spacing that we play with. So a lot of teams, and it's not a wrong thing, but for us this is what we believe in, a lot of teams want to have a corner filled every single time in transition. So if you end up with 3 players on the same side of the floor on the rebound, you'll end up having a player sprinting through the middle of the floor or along the baseline to fill the strong side corner a lot of the time. For us, we don't want that. We want the point guard or the ball handler, if we're positionless and we have multiple players pushing, we want them to have a clear picture. We want them to have a clear map of the floor from the moment they get it, all right? And we want as little traffic in the middle of the floor in the freeway as possible. We don't want traffic in there where there's players crossing, right? So there's 4 spacings that we're going to end up with if we apply that rule of stay with your spacing. I'm going to show them quickly. Let me get black out here real quick. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go. Yeah, let's get it big in it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, one more. Jump out, jump out, jump out. Perfect. All right, let's go ball handler. Right here. Corner. Corner. Spread at the wing. You're ahead of the ball. Let me get a basket. Can you grab the basketball behind you? Cool. So first one, really basic. Filled ahead. Go right on the rim. Right on the rim. Filled ahead. He has the ball. Filled corner. Big's ahead. All right? Rather than having this opposite player in this trail spot right here, where we would run if we're trying to run offense, right? If we're trying to play out of a swing, like we're in the business of searching out an advantage early in transition. And transition alone is enough to create an advantage, to create a closeout. So we don't want this guy right in here begging for the ball and having his defender sitting in our ball handler's area. We want this guy with open space to attack. Open space to see the floor if there's a mismatch down there because he ran his ass off to the rim, right? And he's got a small on him now, and that's our advantage to play off on this possession, all right? Filled ahead, you can go a lot of directions with that as far as once there isn't an advantage, how you want to play from there, whether it's corner dribble handoffs, pin-aways, right, swing passes, whatever you want from there, all right? Number 2, filled spread. Only difference is our big is trailing the play now, all right? Corner filled, it's a spread look because he's behind the ball. If he's behind the ball, unless his man's behind him, we don't want him sprinting past the ball, all right? Stay with your spacing. If his man's already back and loaded, he can play from right there, right? And now we have this space to attack. Maybe he's going into pin-aways, into drags, into corner dribble handoffs. Again, a lot of directions you can go with that. Filled spread. Third one, corner ahead, empty ahead. So you go through to that corner, just fill it to the wing, fill it right to the lane line, right? And you're ahead of the ball, down to the block, back up. So this is a situation where as the possession changed down here, right, you guys back up, you back up, right? Ball went up, right? My guy got the board, he kicked it to him, and we had these three guys on the same side of the floor. Freeze. The last thing I want is he has a mismatch right down there. He's got a nice seal, and my guy's fighting for this corner right through here, and he brings another player right into this area. I want him to have the clearest map of the floor as possible to see that. So we're going to stay with our spacing. You're going to flow down to the corner, right? You're going to flow to the wing. You're going to flow right to this lane line, right? Stretching this nail as much as possible, but not where you're so close to this guy where one can guard two, right? Right in here. From here, whether you're playing post-ups, whether you want him to snap back into step-ups right here. Coach Mackay in his session at the end talked about gets. We call them pistol actions, where back up a little bit. This big old snap, he'll be running in transition. He sees his big's already down. He doesn't have a post advantage, and he'll snap back for this quick pitch ahead. We may play there, or we may dive that trail man down. He lifts high, swing, pitch back, cut, and play from there. Quick action in the middle of the floor where that ball moves. But again, that'd be empty ahead. And then last one, empty spread. Ball right there. You back up. Only difference now, again, he's behind the ball. You guys are still filling corner, wing, lane line, right? And play from here, right? Whether he has a space to attack, again, he sees this empty corner. We want to encourage our guys to take this space. The last thing we want is this guy getting into this area, and my guy here is coming and blowing up the spot, right? Running through and coming to this corner, and he brings an extra defender into the equation. Stay with your spacing. Give our ball handler a clear picture, right? That ball will find the weak side. We encourage that plenty enough, right? But we want that initial picture really clear, all right? You guys can sit down for a second. I'll bring you guys out in a second. Thank you. In transition, it's something we value, right? And so there's a rugby coach at the University of Cal. They've won an unbelievable amount of championships in rugby in the U.S. for what that's worth. But he, talking with him, he always talked about, if it's something you value, it's something you should track. It's something you should stat and be creative with the things you stat. And so the different things that he would stat with his rugby team were just completely different than the ordinary stats you would go off of for rugby. And so in the same way for basketball, we try to get creative with that. And so here's a list of some different things that we look at in transition, or different ideas that we look at. And sometimes you need a little bit more manpower to do it, but different ideas. Number one, just track it literally every single possession, freezing the frame right at the point of gaining possession and tracking your players a check or a minus on their first three steps. Did they invest in their first three steps? As soon as that ball changed possession, was their first three steps like this, 1, 2, 3, and we're out? Or was their first three steps, and now I'm out, right? We see a lot of that. Can we get 5 guys getting check marks consistently throughout the course of the game in that area? Number 2, 5 players over half court by the 21-second mark. Not just the ball over half court by the 21-second mark, but all 5. And so sometimes that's the easier way to actually just track the 3 steps thing, right? Because if you can get all 5 guys there by 21, generally all 5 guys are investing in those first 3 steps. Number 3, paint by 17 seconds. So we call this paint by 7, meaning paint within 7 seconds of us gaining possession of the ball, right? Whether it's our guard pushing it, whether it's off a kick ahead, whether it's off our early post up, can we touch that paint within 17 seconds on the clock, meaning we found an advantage early in the clock, and we're playing from there. That's what offense is for, right? If we can get an advantage and collapse the defense, right, and have them in rotation at 21 on the clock, great. We don't need a set. By 17 on the clock, great. We don't need a set, right? How early can we find that advantage, right? Paint by 17 seconds on the clock or sooner. Next one, ball below the free throw line extended by 17 on the clock. Very similar, but just can we break this plane across the floor early in the clock? So like that corner that corner spread, the empty spread look I was talking about. Like, we want our guard, if that corner is empty, to come down and break this plane, right? Come down and break this plane. Stretch the floor, right? That stretches out the nail man that much more when he swings it. It has to make the defense load up that much more. When we swing the ball back through, they have to shift that much further across the floor, right? Next one, this is kind of a creative one. We haven't done, just an idea. But if you really want to be a running team off of made baskets, charting the time it takes from when the ball hits the floor out the net to when it's taken out and outletted to when it is outletted to your ball handler's hands, and charting that, whether it's 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, what is it? And if you really want to be good at that, I would question whether it's best to have a rule where it's always your 4 or your 5 who's taking it out, or simply saying, no, it's the closest man. It's the closest person to the net who grabs it, if you really want to invest in being a fast team on made baskets too. And then the last one, we call bolts, which is named after Usain Bolt. Happens to be a pretty fast guy. And for us, a bolt just simply means a real-life sprint. How often are your guys getting into a real-life sprint throughout the game? And so we have a thing called Second Spectrum. They've got tracking cameras in every arena and stuff. And so we've got our analytics guys basically have a bar for bigs and for everybody else in the game, perimeters basically, of a certain miles per hour that they reach for a certain amount of distance, basically for 60 feet or more, so a little bit less than 3/4 of the court. So for bigs, I think if it's over 21 miles per hour for 60 feet or more, that registers as a bolt. And seeing how often do our guys actually get to a real-life sprint throughout the course of the game. So Pascal Siakam with the Raptors is #1 in the league the last time I checked in our database, and he's 17 a game. That's offense and defense combined. So offense to defense and defense to offense. But we're really charting the transitions now, and he's about, I think, nine defense to offense ones a game where he's getting out on a real-life sprint. But it's something that we started talking about with our players. How many bolts can you get? Can we get you to 10 bolts this game, where it's a real-life sprint? You're taking off. All right, 2 drills in transition that I love to kind of build this idea of getting advantages early in the clock. All right, works in defensive transition also. Let's get 6 guys out here. Let's get 3 from yellow, 3 from black. Let me get my 2 bigs right there. Yeah, jump out. Both. Yeah, jump out. Oh, get out here. Cool. 1, 2, 3. Cool. 1, 2, 3. Right there. Let's line up. Wing, nail, wing. Closer. Right there. Yep. Facing him. Perfect. So this is a drill stolen from Zeljko Obradovic with Fenerbahce. Thought it was awesome. So it's 3-on-3 Obradovic. You guys have all seen the basic drill where coach hits to any one of the players. If he hits there, this player has to touch, and they're taking off 3-on-2, and then you play coming back, all right? Whether you do it 4-on-4 or 5-on-5, same drill, touch the line drill. The wrinkle here that they do is on the way down, it's no dribble. It's only passing, all right? Passing is one of the most important things in the game. To me, the 2 hardest things to coach in the game and to get effort and engagement out of players in drills is passing and defense. Can you improve those 2 things as a coach right off the bat? In the NBA, if you can get your players to really invest in ball movement and engaging in good quality passes and investing in so I talk about passing. Passing is vision, decisions, and precisions. Vision, decision, and precision. Engaging in all 3 parts of passing, right? You're going to get huge wins. And then obviously on the defensive end also. And so this drill to me, like, not only does it make you better passers, but it just gets your brain going on that end. So this ball goes to him. He's got a touch. We're taking off. It's no dribble going down. They're attacking. We're playing. These guys should be ahead. Great steal. Way to get a steal when it's slow motion. No, good job. They're taking off. We're going down the floor, right? Passing. Let's keep going. Keep moving with it. Yep. So they're looking to score. Once this ball changes possession, make, miss, turnover, all right? This team has a 14-second clock to score going that way. They can dribble, all right? And we're live. Now, as a coach, whether you want to designate, hey, we want to play out of pick and rolls, we want to do different things, that's fine. That we're looking for 3 things on the way back, all right, that we want this yellow team to evaluate now, all right? It's a transition situation. Number 1, is the defense matched up? If they're matched up, right, and they're back, now we have to find a trigger to create an advantage. Whether that's a post-up, a pick and roll, a quick get, whatever you want to emphasize, all right? Number 2 is the defense mismatched, right? So maybe we took off, let's get you back on defense. You're rim running right here, right? Put him in the rim, big fella, right? Right here, this is an advantage for us right now, potentially, if you deem it that way, right? And maybe if he's good enough to draw 2. Not meaning he's going to be the one to score, but he's going to be the one to draw 2 to gain an advantage for us to have a closeout to attack. He's already sinking in. That ball swings there. We got to close out. We're playing basketball now. We're good to go, right? Number 3, defense outnumbered, meaning we had one guy back. We're playing 3-on-2 basketball, 2-on-1 basketball, 3-on-1 basketball. Those are 3 scenarios you're going to find in the game, right? Defense matched up. We got to run offense. We got to find a trigger. Defense mismatched. If you deem it a mismatch that can draw 2, it's a guy good enough to draw 2 players, right? Then let's play through that. Number 3, defense outnumbered. Let's go. All right? Let's roll with one. All right? Good? Good? Get in the nail. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. Oh, good play. Good play. Good play. Good play. Nice. Smoked it. Here we go. Run it back. You good? Good steal, though. Ready? Here we go. Nice. Oh, no dribble. No dribble. Turnover. Let's go. Coming back the other way. Let's play. Good. Go. Freeze it. Freeze it. Freeze it. Go. Flip it over one time. Let's go yellow on the baseline. Ready? Let's go. Uh-oh. Ooh, got there. Got to keep moving now. Keep moving, keep moving. Good shot. Good shot. Good shot. Take off. Take off. Push it, push it, push it. We got one. Not bad. That's all right. Good. Freeze right there. Freeze right there. Good. Hey, special moment. So special moment just happened. Who yelled out mismatch down there? A bunch of you guys. Yes. Good. Good, good. All you guys saw it, right? That's what we want our players to recognize. If we can get to that moment where our players recognize every possession coming down the floor, which of those 3 we're in business. Like, we're in business, and that drill starts to create that feeling and starts to create that sense. The passing down the floor is tough, right? Like, so I watched it with Fenerbahce, and like it was unbelievable. It was beautiful, and I watched it, and I'm like, there's no, whether it's with the NBA team I was with, or at the time I was with our G League team in Westchester with the Knicks. Like, no, we're not going to look nearly that good doing this right now. Like, the quality of passes and having a process at that speed with the player recovering, like, you have to be really precise. You have to move. You have to process stuff quickly. It's the same feeling that you have when you get an advantage. One closeout, you drive that closeout, and it's 5-on-4 now, or 4-on-3 now, and I got a defender closing in on me. I have to make the next quick read without the defense catching up. It's that same feeling, right? And you get it in a full court setting while you're drilling your passes. I love that drill. 3-on-3 Obradovic. Next part. You guys can sit down for a second. Thank you. So I touched on it before. Once you get past transition, right? You've created an advantage. What I call that advantage is I call it dominoes, right? So dominoes is the moment that advantage is created, whether it's a closeout, whether it's a mismatch, whether it's open space that a player has attacked, right? And they've drawn 2, right? Anytime where the defense has gone into rotation, into a small scramble, right? The tiniest little advantage, right? At that moment in dominoes, how can we continue to space, drive, kick the ball until we create one great shot for the team? To me, offense for your team should look like, when you build it as a coach, should look like a pie chart, as far as based on your personnel, based on your team, based on the teams you're playing against, right? You should be looking at the offense I'm going to run. How am I going to gain an advantage, get into dominoes every single possession of this game, right? Give my team a chance to get into dominoes every possession of this game. So that's going to be either done through your system, right? You look at the Warriors, they do it they'll throw it in the post, they'll run split cuts, right? They gain little advantages with that end up getting into dominoes and that ball is pinging around, right? It would be done through your personnel, right? So Cavs, right? They rode LeBron to the finals. They get him the ball right at the mid post, and he's going to draw two. And then he's going to make the right pass. So he's not going to score it every time. He's going to make the right play from there, and that's going to get them into dominoes. And they get driving kick sequences off of that. Third one is opponent coverages. So back to the Warriors, right? Guarding Steph and pick and rolls. A lot of teams will get out and trap him. Or let's talk the Blazers. Let's talk a different team, the Trailblazers, right? Dame Lillard. Teams get out and blitz him. That's an opportunity, right, based on another team's coverage to take advantage of them and trigger dominoes. So that's part of your game plan. And all right, another team blitzes every time. That's an automatic way for us to be in dominoes if I can drill my team to attack hard shows. And then number 4, opponent's personnel. Sometimes there's a player bad enough on another team where you can take advantage of them, and that's what triggers dominoes for you. So looking at those 4 areas, going into every season, going into every game, where are we going to find our dominoes from in any given game? One of the biggest challenges is making sure all 5 guys on the floor are able to recognize that dominoes, that moment when dominoes is engaged. A lot of times, the player who gets the closeout, he recognizes it. Maybe the player in the corner, he recognizes it, but maybe there's some guys on the backside who are still asleep thinking, we're still out here trying to trigger an advantage, and your big's running up into a pick and roll to try to trigger dominoes in the middle of a closeout drive. And so it's something you constantly have to drill with your team and have them see that this is all we're searching out. The Utah Jazz are spectacular with it. Let me just jump out here right at the wing. You jump out here right at the nail. Can you jump out here, just the end of the rim? You're guarding him, right? You're at the nail. I have the ball. You're on my team. He's coming out to set a ball screen. In our league, a lot of times as he's coming out to set a ball screen, his man's yelling, ice, 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 right? Meaning they're going to send the ball this way on the ball screen coverage, and his job normally on that is he shifts into the nail. He comes in and shifts in, so when he starts rolling and I start dribbling down to my left that way, he's able to come in and help a little bit. The Jazz are masterful at recognizing this. I just call it whip it passes, right? Is before he's ever even arrived, he's running up and they hear that ice call, he starts shifting in, bah, he fires it, there's our closeout. Let's play basketball, we're in dominoes from that point. They recognize little bits of body language like that. The guy in the corner, right? He's guarding this corner guy, and he'll just wipe his shoe. Pass is gone. There's a closeout. We're in dominoes. Can you train your team to seek out? Can you train your team to seek out dominoes moments where you can trigger that advantage, right? Like that's the most meaningful thing they can find on offense. And if you can get all 5 players to search that out, you're in business. 3 rules that I talk about for dominoes are, number 1, the ball don't stop, basically. So the Spurs call it 0.5. But once we trigger dominoes, that ball can't stop. We can't let the defense catch up, right? The worst thing that happens when you're a kid and you build that little line of dominoes, right, is if you put one in the wrong place, you put in an hour's work to build this beautiful domino rally, and then one dies 10 steps in, and you don't get to see the full thing play out. That's what happens in offense, right? You get your closeout, you move it, and then this guy jabs, defense catches up, you got 8 on the clock, and you have to trigger a dominoes again. It's the worst thing that can happen, so the ball don't stop. You got 0.5 seconds to make a pass, shoot it, or drive it. Number 2, one can't guard 2. One cannot guard 2. And so what I mean by that is we can't allow one defender to guard 2 players once we get into rotations. Let's get you out here, middle pick and roll, right? Both of you guys jump out here, wing and corner. Perfect, wing, corner, right? Let's jump off right now, perfect. You're here. You're going to set the ball screen, right? So a lot of times teams will play up on the ball screen. He sprints, he rolls out of this hard. That's going to engage someone on the weak side. We have to have someone to cover the roller. So the low man, his defender, comes in. Sorry, let's have you jump in, right? He comes in to help on the roller. That means this defender, he has to cover 2 for a moment as he's coming off that ball screen. So he gets into this area to guard 2. In this spacing right here, 1 can guard 2, right? I can cover the space if I'm a decent athlete, right? So his job based on that rule, is to fill up. As he dribbles away, fill up. This stretches me out. I got no chance now. I got no chance. And what this really triggers is one of my favorite actions in the game that I call a road runner, is right as he back up, I'll play your spot. Start at the top, dribble slowly away. Let's go slow with it. I start filling up. You're looking at the roller, right? Now, right as you turn your eyes back to look at me, I start sprinting through the ball. I call it a road runner, where it's less of a catch and go and more of a go and catch, right? You watch it, Jonas Jerebko is a master of it. He's awesome with it. He just takes off running, and the defense is turning back to a spot where he's not at anymore. But that's your one cannot guard two concept. So it covers your corner drifts, your slot lifts, your wing drifts, constantly emptying out space where it stretches out the defense. And then number 3, finally, the one I keep forgetting, same as the last one, is just into space, out to space. And so that's the one that Steph Curry is the best in the league at, is once he gets into space, he drives in here, you drive, right? He engages the defense, and he fires it out to the corner, right? Maybe he swings it. This guy can't hang around in here. If he hangs around in here and this guy drives, right, we're killing his space, no different than we talked about in transition. As soon as you get into space, he's got to rocket out to space. To open that up again. And in the case of the Warriors, this is one of the main ways they get shots. They're different than other teams, right? When this guy gets out to space, most teams, he'll get out to space to the corner. So say I'm exiting out this way, the ball's on that side. He exits out to the space to the corner, you do what you do. He starts filling up to give him this corner to take. With the Warriors, when this is a shooter who's exiting out to space, right, that ball starts to swing and dominoes, this guy will pin in. Ball goes right there. He'll pin in for me. Sometimes he ends up screening his own, sometimes he ends up screening my guy. But instead of emptying out that spot for me, they'll pin in on that. It's an interesting one that they do that's unique. Some other teams have started to pick up on it. So that's into space, out to space. Those 3 rules. Let's get lines at the top and the wing with you guys. You get a break, big fella. I know you've been working hard. Jump out here. Yep, jump out here. Perfect. Back of that, let's balance those lines. All right, 2-on-0 on a string slides. This covers 1 cannot guard 2. This covers into space, out to space. Both those rules. You guys are going to react to penetration. I dribble at you. You're sliding away together. You guys are on a string. I dribble away. You guys are filling behind. At a point, if I keep going, you're probably going to keep filling behind, but now you got to get to that corner, right? If I keep going this way now you got to drift back up, right? I come back this way. Maybe you're down to the corner, maybe you're filling up. We're playing, obviously, using a lot of space on the floor, but they got to keep reacting to the dribble. At the point that I hit one of them, it's going to be a drive, get in the paint. He's got to keep relocating, kick, into space, out to space, another drive, kick, we got a shot, into space, out to space, we got a shot for him. All right, we're playing from there. Let's go. Let me get one more ball. Yeah. You got the drill now. Can you hit the other guy? Can you hit the other guy this time? Drop a dime. Ready? Here we go. All right, here we go. Yep, nice. Get away. Yep. There we go. Drive it. Good. Drive it. Get him. Bucket. Give me that. Ah! You good. Good shot. Here we go. Next group. Ready? Who's up? Get there. Yeah. Get away. Yeah. Good. Drive it. Good. Drive it again. Get in the paint. Get out to space. Nice. You good. Knock down. Like it. Good shot. Got you. There we go. Ready? Here we go. Yep. Hold up. Freeze. He made a move. You got to react to penetration, right? Right? So it's a fill behind. It's a drift, right? The moment that a player drives, it's the best time to relocate. Defense turns and looks, even if it's just 2 steps to the side. It's going to make a big difference. You good? Ready? Here we go. Oh, go. There we go. Keep going. Relocate. He's got you. Get out the space. Yeah. You good. Knock down. You good. Get up. That's all right. You all right? Good job. Good job. You good. So, huge pet peeve with movement when you're making your, I call them perimeter slides, is he has a ball right, say he has a ball right there, and I get caught at the wing. He had to close out to attack and started driving middle. Go real slow. Okay, go real slow. Freeze right there, that's fine. A lot of guys do one of two things. Either they turn and starts. One, a lot of guys will stand here. That's the worst thing that could happen. Now one can guard two. But if they do make the effort to move away, they'll turn and start running. Pass the ball now. I'm not ready to shoot. I'm not ready to drive, all right? I did empty his space. A lot of guys, as soon as he starts driving, will start sliding right away. I don't think this is fast enough to stop one guy from guarding two. It develops too slowly, and it lets that guy still be in an area to stun and recover. So what we want is what I call like sprint for one step, and then get your chest to the ball. So as soon as he starts going, I'm going to turn, get a big step, and now open my chest up. It gets me away from the ball, and it gets me ready to shoot, pass, drive, and attack either direction, all right? I think it's really important to drill that exact movement, because when you're in dominoes and one is in a position to guard two, it's an absolutely urgent situation, right? We can't let dominoes stop. And if there's any sort of laziness in that movement, one's gonna be able to clog it up, get there, get back, and we gotta trigger another advantage at 10 seconds on the clock, all right? So it's sprint one step, and then open chest to the ball. Let's see if we can get that done. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Yep, good. Like it, keep moving, nice. Another drive. 2 for 2. Ah, you good. Give me that. Good shot. Yeah, he's back. There we go. Good job. All right, cool. So that wraps up kind of the transition concepts, dominoes concepts, and then that spills over into drilling the different pick and roll reads that we talked about and the post-up reads. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Yeah, what's up? Love it. So, I mean, depending on personnel, to me, that's an individual. He asked about a bust out in transition. Instead of always having to outlet it to the point guard, grab the rebound and push it right away. Yeah, so for us, we've moved our lineup around a bunch throughout the season, but at any given time, when we've had Kev at the 4, or even like we're playing Noah Vonleh at the 5, and he's someone we really trust with the ball, like the faster we can get out in transition and get that ball moving up the floor, as long as that player is willing to make the kick ahead, right, and advance it further up the floor, we're very comfortable with him pushing it because it's lag-free for us. On juniors, I mean, again, I think it stretches there. I think it's a good thing to stretch a player's skill set, but not at the cost of other players' skill sets, right? And so I think it's important for them to be able to push it, but I think that's comes with your knowledge of that player and your map of what their development looks like. But yeah, no problem. Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Huh? Oh, you have one? On relocates, no, not so much. We've talked about just like, so we do like a defensive grade sheet after games, just like so if you were supposed to be the low man, and you weren't there, it's a -1, and stuff like different things throughout the game like that. And so we've talked about doing an offensive grade sheet in the same sense, like if you were in a position where one could guard two and you didn't make the slide, as -1. We haven't done it, but that's a thought. I don't know if you have ideas with it. I'd love to, like a specific way to track it. It'd be cool. But, right. Appreciate it. Thank you. Anything else? No? Awesome. Oh, yeah? No. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. For them, thank you. Thank you, guys. Awesome. Appreciate it.